Welcome to the Wise Take DFS podcast. I am your host, CK013. You can find me on Twitter at CK_013. And I'm joined once again by one of the newest additions to the Wise Take family. We got our boy TC, aka Terry Collins. You could find him on his farm in Illinois, or you can find him on Twitter at Terry_Collins12. Please do not tweet him about the New York Mets manager. That is not this TC. What's up, brother? How you doing?
Just like go to any random farm. More than likely, it's not going to be mine. But hey, you can take a chance on it. I'm not going to say you'll be wrong, but go for it.
If you're there and you ask about TC, at least you have a shot. Like if you go there, you have a name, so it's like this is a possibility.
Yeah, just let it roll, man.
Just let it roll, man. So, how was your NFL weekend?
Not bad, not great. I came out on the profitable side, but nothing huge. I made more money overall just doing betting the totals on. Weirdly enough, on an NFL Sunday, I made more money betting an NBA total. But hey, I'll take it. I didn't have a week or a day to write home about, but I came out in the green, so I can't complain too much.
That's good, man. That's good. Yeah, I didn't do well on FanDuel, but I played more. I usually play more on FanDuel, but this week, I don't know. I just felt like I needed to play more on DraftKings because I really didn't like the Patriots-Falcons game, and I didn't like the position that it put me in. I felt like I would hate to, because you could see there was a lot of low totals, and you can kind of tell this wasn't going to be like a crazy high-scoring, kind of week. So it's like, it was just like, for me, I just didn't want to deal with it. Like, I thought dealing with Zeke chalk was much easier, knowing that he could very well get suspended any day now. So it's like, he's going to go ham. Like, that was just... So I played Zeke on DraftKings. I got away with playing Bortles, actually. I escaped. I played Bortles, and he did well enough to where I was okay. He got a 300-yard bonus, etc. But anyway, long story short, yeah, FanDuel not so well, but DraftKings was a good day. It was a good day on DraftKings. Nothing to, screenshot about, but,
Yep.
Again, like you said, overall, it was a profitable day, which is always good.
Yeah, hey, definitely. And anytime you get away with playing Bortles, I would, just fist pump that.
Yeah, I was happy, man. I was happy. It was funny, but when Sunday comes, I actually don't really pay too much attention to basketball. Even though it's usually a good idea to do that, everybody, those of you that are listening, football Sundays are a really good day to play NBA DFS because a lot of people are just kind of not paying attention. And they're so focused on their NFL, and sometimes you'll get people who are they're just so hurting on their NFL day that they're just diving in and trying to chase through NBA contests and all that. And even what you were referring to, if you're looking at lines, if you're looking to put action on a game or something, a lot of times the lines are softer because the books are more concerned with that football line. They're so focused on it that day, you'll find a lot of soft lines there. So it's one thing to note, do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah,
because when you're on this end of it, you know what it is. It's like football. Okay, now we have to focus on football. It's a business thing. We got subscribers and all that stuff, but yeah, just a fun little fact for you guys that are out there trying to make a little bit of extra money.
Yeah. You got to spend money to make money. So focus on football because it's obviously a huge money maker. But at the same time, there's money to be made if you can manage, going over both NBA and NFL on Sundays.
That is true. All right, man. We are going to break down this slate. I like that. I honestly, I didn't really look at the slate, but I saw that there was 8 games, and I like that number. I like that 5 to 8. That's kind of like a sweet spot number right there, right?
Yep.
So this should be interesting. I'm going to try my best to get us to cover both FanDuel and DraftKings because I know that sometimes we get caught up on one and then we leave the other. So I'm going to try. I got both screens open, so we'll do our best, but the most important thing is that we talk about the slate and find out who's going to make people all the money. So whether that's FanDuel or DraftKings, it doesn't matter at the end of the day. All that matters is, was it a good play, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. And kind of Paulie had a feeling about Sunday. I got a feeling about tomorrow. Somebody NBA-wise is hitting big.
Oh, yeah. I'm with it, man. I'm with it. So somebody from the nation is hitting it big. You heard it from TC. You heard it from TC.
Yep. Hopefully it's me, but hey, I'll have all the love in the world if it's somebody else from the nation. I'll have no
Yeah,
complaints.
exactly. All right, man. We're gonna go position by position. We already talked a little bit before the show, so you're aware of the breakdown. Break it down in tiers for me, so I don't gotta be all repetitive about it. It's just me and you. So talk about some point guards from a TC. What do you think?
Yeah, going into tomorrow, point guard I think is where a lot of people are going to, have a lot of chance to diversify a lot. With Wall going, you can go down all the way to Fox and everyone in between. So high tier, Wall and Curry is kind of my real high tier because at least FanDuel wise, then the next tier down's $900 less. So I'm gonna just kind of put Wall and Curry on my top tier. And out of those two, there's no line on Golden State right now, but just looking at it, Wall is going to be my guy if I'm going to pay up there. But like I said, you can go so many different ways with point guard. So middle tier between Schroeder all the way down to Conley. Um, I'm probably not going to even touch there, but out of those three, I'd probably put Kimba and then Schroeder. Schroeder didn't have, the great. He had a good fantasy game, but real life game, he was all right. Nothing to get too crazy about tonight. But I think I'm going to live down low. Fox at 5,200 on FanDuel is just too low for me. So I'm going to have a lot of him. Bledsoe's 7,200 and Lowry's 77. So I think you can get Fox for 52 that's going to hang fantasy point wise, probably with like a Lowry or Bledsoe. If he performs, I mean, he can always, like you said, one of the other podcasts, he can always put up another 1.2 dud for us. But I think for that price and getting that big of a freak, and then being able to spend up at some of the other heavier positions is really going to be beneficial this week. So for me, it's either going to be Wall or going all the way down to Fox, but you could justify a lot of different guys here, but those are my two targets.
Hey man, I like it. I like the Fox call. That's probably like the thing. And again, I have like the slate. So when you mentioned it, I scrolled down, took a look. George Hill, I still don't know why he's there on Sacramento.
Yeah.
I really don't know like what his place is. Maybe to just talk to people, mentor them. But like even so, I don't know why he's even playing. And
No, no.
we saw against Denver that he played. He ended up playing 22 minutes. He only got 2.5 FanDuel points. Like I get you played 22 minutes, but like, dude, two. It's like you know what I'm saying against Denver too. One of the worst,
Especially with a guy like him, you almost have to. He has the skill, so I think his role is just taking a back seat right now.
Exactly, and I think that De'Aaron Fox is like he's developing pretty. Like he looks good. I mean, at least for this team, as for Sacramento, why not? If you're letting Buddy Hield go out there and chuck shots, why wouldn't you let De'Aaron Fox? Like you know what I, you know what I mean? Like
Yep.
so.
And in a game, I guess I could have thrown just for your notes. I don't know if you've looked yet, but and it's supposed to be close. Phoenix is only a point and a half favorite right now. So it looks like it's going to be a game and at 210, which is one of the higher games on the slate. I kind of like that spot.
Oh yeah, man.
Sorry for cutting you off though.
No, not at all, not at all. I really like this spot for De'Aaron Fox. They did bump his price up, which kind of sucks, but they didn't do it high enough. Like he's still, he's still there, and I think that people still don't feel comfortable playing him like on an 8-game slate with all these other point guards because of the fact that he doesn't start at the he doesn't start and run the point, and he doesn't he hasn't played more than 30 minutes. I don't think he's played 30 minutes once yet. So people are going to be easy about it. So I'll take him. I think he's a great price. One thing is that he's been pretty consistent, not even as far as making his shots, but his shot attempts. Like the dude goes for it. Yeah. He's a shot taker. So I definitely like De'Aaron Fox. I think that's a great call. Let's see. Let's move it on. Talk to me about some shooting guards here. What you got for me?
Shooting guards. It is a pretty good lineup here. Up at the top, Harden and DeRozan, and you could throw probably Beal in there too for the top guys. And I think everyone's going to go over Harden, or is going to go with Harden, which they should. I mean, it's James Harden, and especially without Paul. But I think DeRozan, as long as he's 100%, getting a discount and possibly pivoting away from Harden, is kind of interesting there. Not saying that I would just completely fade Harden in all of my or anybody's lineups, but I think it does have some merit to kind of pivoting down because I think a lot of people are going to be over him in this spot, and I don't think DeRozan's going to do. I don't think it's too far fetched to think that DeRozan's going to hit value. Going down into that middle tier, kind of from like $8,000 down to who knows 6,200, I suppose. I like Beal. I don't mind Booker in this spot. I kind of like Booker mainly out of this middle tier. Clay, he's been playing well lately. That middle tier is kind of just for me. If I'm going to go, you can get a guy for Redick for cheap if you're going to save. But, like I said, I'm probably going to stay towards the top here. But if you're going to save, Redick's going to get you minutes, more of a cash game play. And if you just want to take a flyer, which I don't think you need to, but just kind of to get it out there, Bellinelli, I mean, he's been, he's a shot taker. He's a professional scorer from behind the arc. I mean, the guy can heat up at any time for you. So I think there's some merit to playing him. But like I said, I'm probably going to stay up towards the top here with DeRozan and Harden. Maybe throw some Booker in.
Yeah, man. I got one guy that I got one guy that if Whiteside is out, Dion Waiters gets a big usage bump, and we saw that a little bit, I think, with Whiteside missing his last game. Against Orlando, Dion Waiters got 38 minutes. He only got 32 against Indiana with Whiteside out, but he still put up more fantasy points in the 32 minutes than he did with Whiteside on the court, getting 38 minutes. So we definitely want to take advantage of this usage bump if Whiteside is out, and I can't be clear enough about that. Whiteside definitely soaks up a ton of usage, so if you guys that are listening, just keep that in mind. If Whiteside is out, then I would consider Dion Waiters. I mean, Dion Waiters is still a fun. It's still an okay play, but he's not like But like you said, you just named a bunch of options, so it's not like he's not like a must play. But he becomes like definitely a stronger play if Whiteside is out.
And with those minutes and his price, I think the price, if he's going to get that usage with Whiteside out, I think bumps it up. Almost makes it a good value for him.
I'm sorry, you cut out right at the end there.
Oh, sorry. If Whiteside's out and for the price on FanDuel is 6,400, if he's going to get that usage, which it looks like he is when Whiteside's out, for that price, I don't hate that at all. I actually like it. For 6,400, and you're going to get a guy for over 30 minutes, and with the potential that he has, I like that play. Nice call.
Let's do it. All right, let's move it on over to small forward. Talk to me about. Oh, it looks like we're still waiting on Kawhi Leonard on quadriceps. Talk to us about small forward, TC.
Small forward. Durant, obviously the cream of the crop here. We're waiting on Kawhi, but Durant, the line's not out yet, but I see a higher scoring game here, at least compared to the other games. There's a lot of games around 205 to 210. I can't see where this is probably going to be around 215, 216 maybe, would be my guess. So he's kind of the guy here, but there's a decent amount of cheap picks like Dylan Brooks. If you go all the way down to 4,400 on FanDuel, I'm not saying the greatest player there, but his minutes have been there at least for a cheap guy. Kind of in the middle, I think it's kind of no man's land. Middleton, even though he didn't have the best showing on Friday, but didn't have that great of a showing, so I think a lot of people are going to be off of him. And for that big of a jump down from Durant to Middleton, he's still a player. I'm still going to be targeting him a lot this year, especially with Big D. He's going to be getting a lot of defensive focus there, so I think that opens it up for him. So once again, it's kind of generic. I think just since I've been up at the top on almost all of these lineups, positions other than point guard. I think that diversifying your lineups is going to be key because I think a lot of people are going to pay up for Harden and Durant and Big D. So you're probably going to have to pick two of those guys. Durant out of those three would probably be my second. We'll get to my first play later on, but I think Durant needs to be owned a decent amount. And if you're not going to pay up for small forward, Middleton's a great pick for 6,900 with potential for guys to be off of him.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a good point. We got a comment on the show over the weekend. I guess, like usually at some point when we start referencing Big D, we mention his. That's Giannis. I can't even say his last name.
Okay.
The Greek freak.
Antetokounmpo.
Antetokounmpo. Yes. So that is who Big D is for those of you, because I guess Jeff and Cash did a podcast on Friday night. They were trying to do it for the nation, give them a Saturday podcast because Cash just loves NBA and Jeff loves the nation, and so they did that. And we got a comment telling us that, like, who is Big D? Like, you keep talking about Big D's a great player, he's a must play. You're not saying who Big D is, and so I totally get that. That's frustrating. I apologize for that. Big D is Giannis going forward. Anytime we reference Big D, well, hopefully you just listen to us all the time, and so this is the only time I have to say it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
when we say Big D, we're talking about Giannis. If you want to know why we call him Big D, you can only find out on the premium live stream because I'm not allowed to tell you why we call him Big D or what his name is on YouTube because we're trying to not curse so much, and we're trying to keep this a nice show. So buy a day pass if you really want to know that bad. Buy a day pass. But
It, if you have good imagination, I'm sure most of the people out there should be able to catch on.
yeah, it's not that hard. It's not that complicated. Why? Ask Cash. I don't know. That's just kind of a name that he deemed him with, and so we all just, yeah, man, that's what you want to call him. That's what we'll call him. We ride with him, man. We ride with each other. So if Cash wants to call him that, that's what we'll call him. But anyway, what are your thoughts on Dylan Brooks, man? Like, I know I used to like Brooks back in Oregon, man. I like this kid, and he's got a matchup. It's a pace-up spot against Houston. We know Memphis said they want to run. He's getting the minutes against New Orleans. He played 29 minutes. He got 44 FanDuel points. Now he made 19 points. You're not expecting him. My concern with him is that he seems to be a little scoring dependent. He's not a big rebound guy. He's not a big assist guy. He's got like a couple here, a couple there, but like in matchups where he's going to get an opportunity to take a bunch of shots, like he's got upside. Like, I guess what I'm saying, like he's not like a Cash. He would scare me unless he was taking an absurd amount of shots per game. Then it's like, okay, maybe, because if I know he's going to get. But with a guy that doesn't start, it's a little worrisome to rely on a guy like that coming off the bench who's also scoring dependent because his minutes are never guaranteed. If whatever the situation calls, he might get only 10 minutes one day. So, but I do want to point him out. I think for tournaments, if you do want to like pay up and pay down like on FanDuel, you got to play two of them. So say you want to pay a Durant and you want to find like a cheaper guy at 4-4. Dylan Brooks coming off the bench. One thing that I'm sure you're a college basketball guy. I'm sure we know about Dylan Brooks is in Oregon. He liked to shoot. He liked to drive to the hole. He liked to shoot. That's what he liked to do. In a pace up spot, what do you think?
I like him a lot. Like I mentioned, for guys can get that many minutes for that price, and kind of like you said at Oregon, I'm a huge college basketball fan, so I know him very well. And, he has, for all of his career, showed that he has, huge scoring upside. I don't think we can rely on that just yet this early in the season. But, if you're going to pay down and you want a guy that has that potential, like you said, to just go off, he can fill it up quick from points. He has a potential, showed it in college to rack up some assists, but he hasn't kind of brought that over yet. But yeah, for that price, the minutes that he's going to get, and in this kind of a game, yeah, I really like Dylan Brooks.
Let's do it. I don't know if we're quite all in just yet. I don't know if we can.
No.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm trying to generate the excitement with Cash, but I can't be him. Only he could be him. So I'm just gonna, because I wanted to just go, but I'm like, I don't know if I can do that on this guy. I like Dylan Brooks, but I don't know if I could do that. But.
And you pointed it out, and yeah, he's not going to probably make a whole lot of cash lineups, at least this early in the season. So I guess I want to point that out. I do like him a lot, but for cash, not really. I mean, if you want to see who's going to make the cash lineup, then buy a subscription and check out the article tomorrow. Yeah, he's not a cash play, or at least not a great cash play, but I think he has a lot of upside for tournaments.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Definitely. We want to see those shots more consistently. Against Golden State, he took half the amount of shots in the same amount of minutes. So we want to see those shots consistently before we can consider him in cash. But in tournaments, you could always look at him. As long as he's going to get the minutes, he's got a shot. Boom. I'm with you, man. Great point. Talk to me about some power forwards.
Power forwards, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Big D, is king of the crop here. Cash, really talks him up, so I can't really give that amount of emphasis on him that Cash can. But anytime this guy plays, I don't care if he's played in 5 games, back to back to back on, he's always going to probably make my lineup. I mean, the guy pretty much is that team, and he can do everything. Even if he's having a bad scoring night, from blocks, rebounds, assist perspective, he can still, get you a huge amount of fantasy points. And if he is scoring, then you might as well just, start fist pumping, because as long as the rest of your team's set, then you're going to be sitting good. Aldridge, it's a big jump down. I don't really like going down that far. If I'm going to go away from Big D, but kind of stay up still, 8K or more. Simmons, I mean, the dude's really showing off at the beginning of the year. And especially with that guy with injuries with him, you might as well get the usage out of him while you can, just in case. If we're going down from there, Otto's been playing well. Draymond, if you're playing on FanDuel, Draymond, the way that they moved their point system around, like he always sets up good. I mean, with them moving everything up. So Draymond's always in play for 7,700. I like it. They don't have the lineup or line out yet, but like I said, with Clay, I can't see, and Durant, I don't see how it's a low scoring game. So he's in play. If you're going to go down, Saric, I mean, last year he won a lot of people a lot of money multiple times. He always has that, but I think usage is a big issue right now with him. So it's going to kind of see how that goes. If you're going really cheap, Mbah Mute, I don't love him, but for that cheap and the guy that is going to get you consistent minutes, I don't want to say that he's going to score a whole lot, get you a whole lot of fantasy points, but at 3,400, it doesn't take a crazy amount to hit value there for you if you're going to pay down. So if you're going to go cheap, I definitely put Mbah Mute on the list right now. I'm not saying lock him in or even throw him in yet. It'd be something to think about. But if I'm paying down, that's probably who I'm going to be looking at for now. At 3,400, what if he gets 17? He's going to hit you 15 or 5x? At least close to it. So yeah, and really, I'm looking for at least a 5x floor, or at least hope for a 5x floor. And he's a guy I think can get you that for that low price. But yeah, Big D all day.
Big D all day. Can never get enough of that guy, man. That guy's poised for a phenomenal year. In general, and I really don't see my only issue with Big D, I'll say, and I'll dig into it tomorrow, but I'm not a big fan of playing him when there's a decent rim protector, and we got Dwight Howard at the hoop. So that's one thing that I want to look into tomorrow, because it doesn't mean that he can't handle Dwight Howard, because there are certain centers that he has an advantage of. But one thing about Howard is he is athletic. He's a big athlete.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's an awkward kind of athlete, but he's an athlete. So it's that's the one thing. Because Giannis, he's not the best shooter, right? He gets to the hole. No. That's his whole thing. Is he can get to the hole on anybody. So that's the one drawback I have of Giannis. And it takes me a lot. And on FanDuel, for me to pay 12.2, and he's earned every bit of that price tag this year. I can't say and I'm sure I have some answering to do if Cash listens to this, because he's not going to like me talking in any negative correlation about his Big D. But that's my only concern there. Do I want to pay 12.2? Do I want to take that chance? There's a good chance. I would probably be willing to just lose, because there's a good chance that he's going to go off. If I fade him tomorrow, he'll go nuts. He'll show me that Dwight Howard just can't hold him. Can't stop him from the rim, or maybe they have something in mind to draw him out, which I don't see how they could do that. But regardless,
at the
I'm
same
starting
time,
to lean more towards Middleton. I like what you said about Middleton, so this makes me lean on a guy like Middleton who can actually shoot.
Yeah, and especially with Big D, he's been working on his 15 foot and further jump shot, but it's still not there to rely on yet. I don't think. I mean, he can hit it, but not at the consistent level that I would quite lean on. And I agree 100% with the Howard, kind of correlation there. He does still give you that assist and rebound upside. But then again, if you're going to go rebounds, Howard's still a freak on the boards. Mm-hmm. But I wouldn't fault anybody. But yeah, if you're going to play it like that, I think if you think that Howard's going to kind of slow him down a little bit, which is very possible. I don't think you can ever shut him down, but if you can slow him down,
Hmm.
then yeah, I completely agree. I was already decently high on Middleton, and I think a pivot from there, especially with people, like I said, fading Middleton, I think, since that well, not dud, but lackluster game he put up, I think that might give you an edge, but proceed at caution, and if you fade Big D, don't let Cash know about it.
Yes, yes. Don't tell Cash. What you said is exactly right. And like, let's look, 37, 34, 44 actual points in his last three games. And so I'm not discrediting the guy. He's, like I said, he's earned every bit of that salary. Like he's put up over 60 FanDuel points in all three of his games. And until Jabari Parker comes back, there's really no reason to think that's going to stop at all. So, like, my thing is, though, for 12-2, do I want to take a guy who a lot of his buckets have come from driving to the hole and taking those layups? And like you said, he's had a lot of matchups where he's been able to rebound. Boston, one of the worst rebounding teams in the league. Cleveland,
Yep.
they're not the best rebounding team either. Kevin Love as your center, he's not a center. He's a power forward.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Portland,
And Thompson.
Thompson. Portland, another team that struggles with rebounds. Outside of Nurkic, they really, they struggle with Aminu and those other guys. Harkless, they go small at times. So like this is the first matchup where he has a true big down there. That's
Yeah.
I'm not saying Nurkic isn't a good or a true big, but you know what I'm saying. Howard is a traditional
Yeah.
center. He's your
Yep.
traditional center. That's what he is. Not a great ball
And,
handler, not a jump shooter. He stays where he belongs,
yep.
which is down by the rim.
And if you listen to the theory of game theory, like I do a lot with spreads and everything, it's projected as of right now without the Golden State and the Miami over under listed, it's the lowest scoring total of the night for tomorrow. And yeah, I didn't really think of the game theory that far right now, but yeah, the more you're saying it, I still will probably have some of them. But yeah, it's making me at least think. And even though he scored 60 more fantasy points, at 12-2, you almost need 60 to hit 5x.
Just 5x, exactly. What you said is perfect. If you need 60 to hit 5x, and like if we're talking tournaments, 5x isn't good enough for us, right?
Yeah,
Like we're looking for
exactly.
6, 7, 8. You know what I mean? Like that's just not good
Yep.
enough. So like that's my concern. Now don't get me wrong. To a certain extent, raw points matter, of course. It's been like on
Yeah.
really small slates more so. But I just don't know. I just think that we have all these other options. Like there's a couple guys. Like for instance, off the top of my head, if Whiteside is out, also aside from Deion Waiters, James Johnson gets a big boost.
Oh yeah,
They
I'm a
threw
big
him.
James.
I know you are neck tat. I know you are. We talked about this last week. I know when Whiteside was out, we were talking in the Wise Take chat about it, and I know you're another one that likes it. Did you notice they put Otto Porter at power forward?
Yeah, I did, and actually, a decent price tag for him too, at least
Yeah.
for what I think. 6,900. Yeah, and
Yeah.
move them down to there. That might be a way that you can get into this game a little bit because that's the highest scoring game of the night. So if you want a cheap option at a spot that a lot of people are going to be paying way up for, yeah, that might be a little bit of a touch of a high scoring total.
Yeah, that's something we got to look into there. All right, let's move it over to centers. Almost there already. Let's go.
Yeah, centers obviously Whiteside's probably the guy that you're going to want to pay attention to. He's good. 9,400 I think is kind of it's priced right, maybe a little bit high for me, but priced right. But if you listen to any shows, I don't remember which show exactly that I talked really high up on him, but if you've listened to me before, Gortat has won me a lot of money over the last 2 years. I mean, the guy, he's my ride or die. Him and Frank are my ride or die guys, and I kind of left Frank out of power forward, but Embiid, I think he's listening to this questionable right now. I haven't dove too far into it, but I hate playing that. You never know what minutes he's going to get. And even though close games, they've been letting him run, you just never know. Drummond, 8,300. I think we're leaning a little bit on the rebounding potential there, but he still has upside. But for me, I'm not going to lock him in, but I'm going to go a lot towards Gortat. Gasol and Jokic, have some merits of playing themselves, but I think I'm going to go down to 6,100 and play Gortat or go up 900 to Capella on the majority of my lineups probably.
Yeah, man. Center's always like an odd one. And Embiid just doesn't help the situation. Like,
Yeah.
his price is always up there, but like his point per minute is insane.
Mhm.
You feel like you never really know how many minutes he's actually gonna play. You know, like
Yep.
I think what game one, I think they said 18 minutes or some shit like that, and he
Yeah.
played 26. Like, you know, but one thing is that he's had pretty good matchups. Like, he's only played 2 games, but he's had decent matchups. And in those matchups, he got 26 minutes, 28 minutes, and he only got 37 and 38. So, like,
Hmm.
that worries me a little bit. Now, I will say that last year, Drummond was one of the worst defensive centers in the league. I would take centers
Oh,
against
yeah.
that dude. Gortat was a guy that would slice and dice Drummond up last year, all year. Like,
Yes.
anytime they played, Gortat would slice this dude up. Drummond is so lazy on the defensive end. Like,
Yep.
don't get me wrong. Like, if it's a good matchup, Drummond will rack all the rebounds up. But, like,
Yeah.
sometimes he gets real lazy, dude, you know?
And I'm a Gortat guy, but yeah, if Gortat is slicing you up, you're
Yeah.
not doing a lot.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. It's one thing if Gortat's just out rebounding you because he's super tall, but it's another thing
Yeah.
that like if he's putting up like massive points on you, it's like there's an issue there. I'm with you though. I think I want to like it's going to be interesting. Gortat against Jokic is going to be quite the matchup. Jokic is a guy I got my eye on, man. He's been flat out disappointing. Now he had like in his first game he had Gobert. Like okay. Gobert is like a tough matchup for anybody. So like okay, but then he plays Sacramento, gets 30 minutes, and puts up 21.3. Like I don't 0 points. Like I really don't know what is going on. Like he's not shooting. Is he taking a back seat? Like did his coach say? I have no clue. He's just is he gonna get warmed up? Like you know.
yeah, I've tried watching the games, and I really don't. I can't, pick out what exactly is going on with him. I mean, it's one of those weird spots. Usually, if the guys have bad stretches, you can kind of watch the game and see maybe he's just missing shots, or maybe he's just not being used, or whatnot. But I don't know. Like he's a guy that constantly at least should be doing something for you, and he's been pretty disappointing, and especially for the price that he's at. I mean, listen, if you listen to us, especially Cash, like he always talks about the guys that if they go off, which they can, they can win you a lot of money, and he's that guy. He shows that upside, but. For me, I might have some of them, but it's almost so risky. And when I can pay down 1,600 to go to Capella, or even more than that to go to Gortat, like I'm probably going to go down there just so I can pay up more. But yeah, I don't know what's going on with him, and he's probably going to make a fool of me one day by not picking him. But I'm just hoping that tomorrow's not that day.
I hear that. I think that's pretty much it, man. I think we pretty much we ran through the list. That's everything, man. I appreciate you joining me, man. And these NBA shows go by pretty quick, man. Like in the MLB, because like we take like an hour and a half, something like that. It's just like we're half an hour in, and it's like that was a nice, short, sweet podcast. I feel like we covered the bases.
Here's a quick question for you.
Yeah.
If Whiteside's out, who do you think's going to slide into the center role?
Well, I think they had Olynyk and James Johnson start. So I think Olynyk started. Well, I think that's what they did because Whiteside missed the last game.
Yeah. But do you think they're going to split pretty evenly, or do you think it's going like how do you think that's going to play out? And I know he missed last game, but do you think it'll be the same way here, or do you think they'll kind of switch it up a little bit?
I mean that's definitely a good point. They're going to have Dedmon out there, right? They're going to have Dedmon and Ilyasova, and then they got that other kid at the power four, the backup power four. What's his name? John something.
Oh.
So I guess like technically, like does Miami still have like Haslam and all those guys? Like
if he does, he didn't even make my list, which is probably justified.
No, I'm looking right now, and those guys didn't even play. So it seems like the only guys on Miami, like Olynyk played 27 minutes. He mashed, by the way. Olynyk mashed, but he played.
To be fair to anyone listening, me asking that question does not mean to look for the backup center for Miami. Like that was just, if anything, it was almost trying to figure out kind of how to think about Atlanta. Like that, don't look into me asking that question as saying, well, Whiteside, whoever's going to get his minutes is just going to go off. Like don't take
That's a good point. Yeah, for me, man, like Olynyk was a guy that I'd consider, but now he's 5'2". So now you got to think about it. So like, I don't know. It's not a terrible idea, but it's just, there's a lot of discussion. You got Big D at power forward. You got a lot of decisions to make there. You can't just give the okay on Olynyk. You know what I mean? Like, if he was still like last week's price, the other day's price, maybe, but not anymore. They priced him up. So, anyway, man, this was a lot of fun. I appreciate you joining me on this Sunday night, TC. I look forward to talking to you, reading your article, your Cash Game NBA article tomorrow, and of course, in the chat, man. We'll see you in the chat before locked to talk about some tournament plays and all that other stuff as well, man.
Yep, I'll be in the chat. So anybody that's not subscribed to the company yet, get in the Wise Nation. Even if like you don't think you need a whole lot of help, like just the comedic relief you're gonna get from being in the chat, like is well worth the money. So and if you need help, there's always plays there. Like not even just myself. Like there's so many guys that know more than I do in there that you always have a chance at mashing when you listen to these guys.
We got a great team. We have a very, very talented team, and I think everybody brings you a solid take. And I'll tell you one thing: it seems like whenever there's a consensus on somebody, that person ends up doing pretty well. Bears defense. Oh yeah, Bears defense. Yes, and I think that was something that all of us were kind of buying into more and more as the week went on. Paulie even mentioned it on one of the shows. I think it was the Wise stream, but the Bears defense, man, phenomenal. Thank you, Chicago.
yeah, they single-handedly kept me in a lot of games.
Yes, them and Ezekiel Elliott saved my night. Yes, it would be a very miserable night for Mr. CK, but they did theirs. So anyway,
I played them with Kittle, and
me too.
And it was like reverse. Like usually I would expect to get like 2 or 3 points from my defense, and I'd be pissed off or unhappy. But I'd live with it. But like it was reversed. Like like Bears defense saved that a lot of times.
Oh my gosh, huge, man, huge. Anyway, guys, don't forget to check out the articles coming out tomorrow. We got Cash writing the GPP articles. We got our boy TC's gonna write your Cash Game articles, and then he'll drop some GPP knowledge on you in the chat. Me and Paulie D on the Y stream tomorrow. Unless Paulie D can't make it, then TC might be on the show. But we'll have to cross that bridge tomorrow. Anyway, guys, if you're watching on YouTube, please click that thumbs up. That like button means a lot to us. If you're listening on Podbean, give us a follow. If you're listening on iTunes, give us some 5-star reviews. Bump us up those charts. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow. We're gonna take a look at some of these projections here. I got a cool idea that I got from another show. I think I'm gonna pick a couple of the projections from our NBA projections, and we're gonna talk over and unders on their projection, and just have a little fun.
That.
Have a little fun.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So for TC, from myself, and the entire Wise Take Nation, as always, good luck.
Yeah.